down for a little bit.
But guess what is back? You know what's also back? The
What's
red
back?
light, which means
Yes.
we are live. Look, Brian H is already putting his ones up. And the big question that we have to ask ourselves as wrestling fans, as we head directly into Elimination Chamber on this fabulous road to WrestleMania, is do you smell what the bloodline is cooking? Something about that doesn't seem all the way quite there. But guess what? We are here tonight to discuss it. And once again, we're going to do our best, which we've been failing at miserably, to get to the bottom of what's really going on with The Rock, with the bloodline, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts because tonight we got some questions that need to be answered. Also, Elimination Chamber, who's going to win men's, who's going to win women's. So much to get into, championship culture, and much more right after the intro. But guess what? Remember, the intro ain't as long as it used to be. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem. Yes!
Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Wrealm content anytime on youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm. Why did I get stuck right there? Follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Threads, X, and Facebook at Wrestling Wrealm. Like, subscribe, and engage in a conversation with us. You can download all of our audio content anytime on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Wrealm. I'm your host, yours truly, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen. He is your host. Brother Hugh has the third, A to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D. The super producer has the third, Brother Hugh, in the building today. And for speakers by his absence, not just any guy, Brandon the guy. A little bit under the weather today, so he will not be joining us. But guess what, though? Guess who is joining us? The heart and soul of the Wrestling Wrealm, all the way from Baron B. Dub, Wrestle Talk. That's right, I took it there.
Hollywood!
Brian H. Waters. See that? Brother Hugh, that was priceless. He had his one up in his jaw drop.
I mean,
Right?
I know we just went back before
did.
the show.
I took
You
it back
didn't
12
have
years.
to go there.
I feel like
Yeah,
people needed to
definitely
know
did.
where you came from, man. Like this
No.
is like month. Not you. No, it was too far back.
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
fair
good
enough.
on that.
No, okay, fair enough. Just ignore that last thing I said.
He's trying to skip that chapter in the story.
No, he's got to finish his story. But guess what? The next chapter in that story resides at WrestlingWrealm.com. Yes, for all Wrestling Wrealm Pearl merchandise, head over to WrestlingWrealm.com for t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. So if you want to shop the Wrestling Wrealm and you want to participate and buy our merchandise, this is where you can go. WrestlingWrealm.com. All of our merchandise, all of our product, so much more to come. Once again, that is WrestlingWrealm.com. Do yourself a favor. Go buy yourself a t-shirt. Be a proud wrestling fan. In the upcoming weeks, we will also be doing some live unboxings from WrestlingWrealm.com with all of our Wrestling Wrealm merchandise. And if that's not enough for you, for all of exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/the wrestling_realm. Don't forget the underscore. So that's for all exclusive shows and bonus materials, such as Brian just starts soon to come, Realness Reacts, and maybe a few other things. There's a few things on our Patreon channel right now. Brian does a lot of writing. I do a little bit of writing here and there, but we are working diligently to make sure that we provide that nice personal exclusive bonus material and content to our Patreon channel. So you can subscribe for just as low as $1 at patreon.com/the wrestling_realm. Now we are fresh on the road to WrestleMania. There's plenty of live concerts, shows, and things going on as the weather changes and we enter closer to the spring season. But guess what? The Wrestling Wrealm is here to do you a solid. So if you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use promo code Wrestling Wrealm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Now, WrestleMania tickets are off the charts, so trust me, you're going to spend $50 or more. So use promo code Wrestling Wrealm. If WWE Live shows up in your town, use promo code Wrestling Wrealm. Hey, if you want to go to the latest R&B concert soon to hit Cincinnati with all those R&B 90s legends, use promo code Wrestling Wrealm. That's SeatGeek.com, promo code Wrestling Wrealm. Save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more. And shout out to everybody that has used the promo code so far. We get a couple of emails and notifications about those who are using the promo code. So congratulations. You have saved yourself plenty of money partnering with our partners at SeatGeek. Once again, that is promo code Wrestling Wrealm. All one word, 2 W's. Now, if that's not enough, if you'd like to advertise with the Wrestling Wrealm, email us at gmail.com. That's right. Contact us at wrestlingrealm@gmail.com. So if you want to sponsor a segment, if you want to partner with us, advertise a show or a new business, the Wrestling Wrealm would like to partner with you. Email us at wrestlingrealm@gmail.com and use the word advertise in the subject line. We will get back to you with rates and opportunities for you to become some new business partners with the Wrestling Wrealm. I think that's everything, isn't it? Did I get to it? Did I get to it?
Yep.
You
Oh.
got it.
Yep.
But you know what time it is, right?
What time is it? Yeah.
It is time for us to talk about the latest and greatest brand show to the Wrestling Wrealm, Championship Culture with Brandon, the guy, and super producer, Brother Hugh has the third. Season 2 is upon us, and if you have not seen the first 5 or 6 episodes of Championship Culture, not to mention the first 25 episodes of season 1, head over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm. Playlist Championship Culture. Brother Hugh, the Championship Culture has been quite busy.
Yes,
right?
it has. Yes.
And guess what?
Yes.
You guys just had a show. You guys have a show every Tuesday at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8
We
p.m.
talked about
Eastern
a little.
time.
Well, we talked about the NXT Tag Team Championships yesterday actually. Version 2 got in a little bit into the history, and of course we brought back our top 5 list. So check us out and give us your top 5. Let us know who you think the better the tag team title champions are out there in the NXT universe. But I'm gonna give you a spoiler: Braun and Corbin, they're not in it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. You think?
They're about to lose it anyway, so there's no point in putting them up there.
Dang.
You sound you sound like you feel some type of way about that. For a belt guy, you don't sound too happy about this whole situation with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin being the new NXT Tag Team Champions, because you guys never really mentioned them on the show in a way where I felt like, these guys have a future as NXT Tag Team Champions and a chance to be a part of this show. Why is that, Brother Hugh?
I don't like those makeshift tag teams. You have too
You
many
don't-
people
you-
down there right now that you can probably put together and then and have them have a better run and present those titles in a better light.
You know what's
And
crazy?
besides, Braun, my bad, I'm sorry.
No,
Besides,
go ahead.
Braun Breaker, he got called up. He got called up. What is he going to do in NXT? Like,
Drop
what's
them.
what's next for Baron Corbin?
Reset.
So I mean, what's going on? Yeah, like it just didn't make sense. But I did like the Good Brothers coming in. That's a plus.
There you go.
I'm going to get
past
that in a
Tuesday.
second.
Yes, sir.
Brian H. Do you hear your boy right now talking about he doesn't like makeshift tag teams?
Mhm.
Like Kane and X-Pac wasn't WWE champions?
You
What's
right.
going on, Brother Hugh?
You right. You right.
You just said I don't like these makeshift tag teams. Like, what? Wait a minute.
You know, it's funny. We
Wow.
was just talking about this earlier, and we was talking about especially like with the women. And
Mhm.
I always say that sometimes when you have teams like this, it's a common good, right? When you look at
Mhm.
like Team RKO, rated RKO, it was like, okay, they had like a common interest, right? And a common enemy. Then you also look at Tamina and Nia Jax. It was like, you know what? We're part of this bloodline. It essentially wasn't a bloodline named the bloodline yet.
How
but
fitting.
right.
Facts.
And so why wouldn't
Facts.
we team up? Or Shayna and Nia Jax?
Mhm.
Who can stop us? If we get our own way, who can stop us? And then when you also look at tag team titles, right? Let's
Yeah.
go back to way back in the day. One of the reasons why one of the greatest of all time, Hulk Hogan, said he always wanted the belt because as a shoot, the belt meant more money. So if you look at it from that perspective, if you can't get your hands on singles gold, why not find somebody on the roster and like, you know what? Let's go get these tag titles and increase our our net worth.
That makes sense. And speaking of
It
tag
makes sense.
titles, so like I said, this was episode 5 of season 2 of Championship Culture, volume 5 of this
Volume
NXT
5 of
series
NXT.
that you guys have been doing. But speaking of volume 5, every time you guys do an episode of Championship Culture, I watch it, right? And if I can't be a
Yeah.
part of the show, I've got notes. So guess
Yeah,
what?
the paperwork.
Is it loud enough for you? Brian H hates it. He hates it. He hates it. He loathes. Look at his face. He loathes it. I've got notes. Season
Yes, sir.
2.
Notes.
Season. See, you better in different area codes. Greensboro. See, I told you this is what I was afraid of. Championship Culture, season 2, episode 5, NXT Championship, the tag titles. This version, not the first version, but this particular version. I got 5 tag teams. You guys get your top 5 NXT tag teams. I've got my own. All right, right here. I'm going to read them off. You ready? Here we go.
Let's go.
At number 5, the Street Profits, because they're brothers. I agree with you guys on about Angelo Dawkins, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he was going to get cut. He's been around for a little bit, and I was like,
a long time. Yep.
He survived. And then when they did the Street Profits, I was like, oh man, it looks kind of goofy, but they made it work, man. And you got to support the brothers.
Yep.
Number 4, the Authors of Pain. Guys that are pretty limited. I think they had a great presentation. They had a great manager in Paul Ellering, very legitimate. So number 4. Number 3, the New Day, because New Day is one of the greatest tag teams that's ever done it, arguably if not the best. And having the New Day hold those tag titles bring credibility to NXT's tag team championship lineage. Number 2, Undisputed Era. There's no denying what they did, man. They took that to a different level, man. I think their era kind of legitimized NXT during that time period where everybody's like, I don't want to go to the main roster. So when you think about that particular era, you think about the Undisputed Era and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And number 1, my personal favorites were the Viking Raiders. I followed these guys. I wrote about them.
Right.
All the way to the point when they were War Machine back in Ring of Honor. I remember I did an article. I did an article on those guys before they were even Ring of Honor champions. I predicted they were going to be Ring of Honor championships. I got proof. I even did an edit. I put the belts on them, and they retweeted it, so on and so forth. And then they finally made it to NXT. Became they went from being War Machine to the War Raiders for trademark purposes. War Machine is a trademark of Marvel Studios. Shout out to Brother Guy.
Oh, you gonna miss them? So you just gonna skip out the old name now?
I said War Machine.
Nah, not that one.
The Viking
What were they?
Experience.
Yes,
the what?
The Viking Experience.
No, we haven't got to that part. That was stupid. Yeah. And then they became the War Raiders, right? They got and then they get called up to the main roster, and they were the Viking Experience. That's the name of their finisher. That was early like Twitter rioting, and they eventually turned it back to the Viking Raiders.
It was like soon as like Bruce Pritchard had like joined WWE, because I don't know if you listened to that episode, but Conrad was like, "Look, I know we don't talk about the current product, but what the is the Viking Experience?
Yeah,
what is
that was, and that was during the Vince McMahon era, so that was hard to change people's minds. But shout out to the fans. I know if my Wi-Fi goes out freaking again, I might not make it today. Nah, screw him, man. He's not in charge of it. He can't sabotage our show anymore. But those are my notes for Championship Culture Season 2. Here we go, brother. You watch this. Watch Brian Ace cringe. You ready? Those are my notes.
That sound like good sound effects. Like I don't know if I could have did that better.
So we might that was like
that was the perfect amount of beats per second with the crumble.
You got it down to a science.
That's you.
But if you want to see this episode and give us your opinion on who do you think were the best tag team in NXT to hold this particular NXT tag team title during this era, Volume 5, Championship Culture, Season 2, Episode 5, youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm Championship Culture playlist. catch up on the first 25 episodes of season 1, enjoy the first 5 episodes of season 2. But championship culture is not quite done. You guys had a busy week, brother Brian Nix. These guys are hitting towns. Brother Hugh, talk
Yes,
about
sir.
it. What has championship culture been up to? You guys made 2 appearances on 2 different shows. And
We made
in one
some
show,
appearances.
you guys made it to the semifinals, a 3-count
sir.
trivia, and then you guys also
Yep.
made a appearance on the wrestling wrap up. Which one you want to talk about first, brother?
Well, let's talk about the trivia. That happened first, so let's make that happen first. Well, we had a great time. We met up with the 4 sides of the ring. Ended up going up against the Flows on some trivia. We had the Royal Rumble was our topic, and those questions, man, Marcus, boy, somebody hurt you, bro. I don't know where you was getting those questions from, but we managed. We managed to bring it out. And we advanced to the semifinals. So now we're going to go up against the wrestling wrap up, and coincidentally, we're a guest on their show.
I like them. Good people.
Right there, great people, great people. We had a
the
great time.
wrestling wrap up.
The wrestling wrap up. Yep.
I don't
Shout
think
out to Mari
I've
and
had a chance to meet them personally.
No, not
well,
yet.
Great people.
Sounds
Hopefully
like
we can meet up
Tell
with
us
them
about
at,
your time on the wrestling wrap up, brother Hugh.
we're trying to. Hopefully we'll meet up with them at Mania. But man, we had a great time talking about belts, of course. We had a tier list, basically just breaking down the most beautiful titles, the best design, and of course straight up trash, and then what everything else in between. But we had a great time. We took like maybe 100 or so belts and just broke them down one by
Wow.
one, put them into different categories, and man, it was a great time. Look it up. We'll drop the link. Look it up. Watch it. It's a great discussion. If you love belts, check it out.
That's right.
Everybody has a story. Check it out.
Everybody has a story. And guess what? There was plenty of stories to be told on the wrestling wrap up, the championship belt tier list featuring the Wrestling Wrealm championship culture, to be specific because every belt has a story. So if you want to catch up on everything championship culture has done, follow their Instagram page, follow the Wrestling Wrealm social media pages just to stay up to date, because trust me, these brothers move fast. But the fastest rising show in the pro wrestling media and podcast community. Wouldn't you say so, Brian H?
Yes, sir.
These guys are moving quickly. So, but if you're not sure who they are, you want to catch up on it. Once again, it's youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm and playlist championship culture. Man, it's one of my favorite shows. I look forward to it every week. You learn a lot. You get to engage with the community, and then you get involved in what we do best, belt talk. So yes, season 2 championship culture in the mix. Why are we here today, good brothers? We have 2 added. Speaking of the good brothers, I never talked about the good brothers on NXT. Did I skip over that?
Yeah, you definitely did skip over.
You know what? I meant to. Where's my paper that I balled up? Because on number 1, I meant to put the good brothers.
I knew that would make you happy.
Future NXT tag team. When I saw them, I popped. I said, "Oh yeah, the brothers are back." The good brothers have made their way to NXT. Man, I'm excited for them. A lot of people were like feeling some type of way about it, but brother Hugh asked me, and I said I told myself I was going to say this on the air. When you look at what they have been doing when they left WWE, they're pretty much doing what they're going to do now in NXT. They've been working with younger tag teams. Like, it's not many veteran tag teams still on the scene, right? So think about it. TNA Impact, they were working with at one point, if they weren't tagging with like Ace Austin and Chris Bay, they were wrestling all young talent around the world. You know what I mean? Even during the pandemic, when they did the partnership with AEW, and everybody was kind of sharing talent, they were working with all new talent. So what sense would it not make to say right now, we got to rebuild these guys as a legitimate tag team, and it may not be necessarily room on the main roster, which is the beauty of having the third show. So now you get to work and develop young tag teams, new talent, and you could also kind of get your name back out there and get the mainstream WWE audience re-familiar with the Good Brothers as a tag team, not just being a part of the OC and being of AJ Styles' lackey. So I just wanted to put that out there. But we are here today. So go ahead, you say.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. When Carl Anderson kind of stood up and went toe to toe with AJ on SmackDown, I popped.
Yeah, had to
I
set a
said,
bar.
oh, because like I always thought he had like a star quality about him,
Sure,
like
yep.
somebody I wanted to see.
Especially when he lost the weight.
Yeah, I wanted to like see him in some singles competition and some prominent storylines. And I remember sitting there at Raw in Brooklyn, and I was sitting next to Shoemaker, and he was like, look toward like before like they came out, he's like, just look towards the Titantron, and sure enough, and like the crowd popped for him, and so then obviously Luke Gallows doing the rub for Rhea, letting her body slam him, just goes to show you, and I thought he looked good. I didn't think it looked bad on him at all.
Sure.
And but I definitely wanted to see a feud brewing between Carl and AJ, because if you look at AJ Styles' character, it's like he ain't for none of this, man. Like they all trying to like get his attention, and he's like he about business, and it's like but they don't want to disappoint Uncle Allen. So
sure. No, it's and this isn't the first time this happened. You remember when the OC first got back together before, right before the pandemic, before like things got shut down, they got released. He did the same thing. They were kind of the laughing, joking guys, stuff that they do on their podcast and behind the scenes. They were kind of portraying like their work on TV as that being the only thing they did, right? And AJ kind of slapped them both and was like, "Well, y'all snap out of it. You guys are one of the best tag teams in the world, and y'all out here playing games. Like, get this together." And that's when we got the reinvention of the OC, and they came out with the black and red, and they were starting to get rolling again. And then unfortunately, we had a global pandemic. And they went back to, they got released, and they went back to their roots and did what the Good Brothers do. And I'm happy to see them back. So had to put my 2 cents in there. It's good to see my guys back and not have to they can stand on their own. They don't need the OC. They don't need they can be the OC themselves, which is dope. So, but we're here to talk about something that seems awfully suspicious. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but we talked last week. We were on the show, and we left last week's show talking about we were looking forward to The Rock showing up on SmackDown. And I remember saying, why do I feel like the principal's coming to town and we're about to get in trouble? I said, I'm nervous because The Rock is vicious on the mic. And I was like, man, I don't know what he's going to do or say. I'm nervous. And best believe The Rock shows up in rare form. We called it a mix between Hollywood heel Rock and classic heel Rock from, the mid to late 90s, 98, 99. The Rock comes out in this $500 Versace looking premium cut vest on. Yeah. He got some diamonds around his neck. He's got some expensive shades on. And he tears the audience a new one.
There it is. Yep.
Like, it's crazy, Brian, as you said this last week, The Rock comes out, he does this thing when he put like the goosebumps, and as big as his arms are, we saw those goosebumps on camera.
Those are real, folks.
The Rock is a heel, right? But he comes out there and people still go nuts when you hear that music. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm about to get in full frame. Now, I can't imagine this being the original plan of The Rock coming back. How excited do you think he was to come back and say, well, shoot, if they want me to be a bad guy, fine then. Let me go out there and be a version of me that they haven't seen in such a long time. Because that's the first thing he said. He says, I haven't been this guy in a long time, but I thought this version of me has always been there. And then he just proceeds to tear Salt Lake City a new one. Were you excited to see heel Rock back in WWE in this form and fashion, Brian H?
Yes, sir, man.
Well, of course I shouldn't have asked you first. I should have asked Brother Hugh first. Of course, I hate that's on me.
You knew it was coming. Yep.
The reason why I was excited to see heel Rock, because as much as I'm a Rock fan, and when we it's funny, go back in the archives and you'll see like I'm going for The Rock and Wayne is going for John Cena leading in the
Oh shoot, I remember that. Def the Team Bring It.
Def the Team Bring It. I'm not oblivious to the fact that it is the same song every time he comes. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, crack a joke that may be things you really shouldn't be saying nowadays. And it's like one of those things where, okay, I want The Rock and Roman Reigns. I want that match. But I also understand that in order to really move the business forward, it can't be what we got from Rock and John Cena, and because essentially to get Rock and John Cena, you would have to do like Rock would have had to beat Roman and then drop the title to Roman, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, he just came in and get washed. But now it's a shift because now I think heel Rock opens the door for face Roman. But right now,
see, there you go. See, you already cracked open a can of worms, brother.
It's just, and the thing is, like,
couldn't help myself. Sorry.
So of the Rock, I was really because I haven't seen that Rock before, right? It's kind of like if you want to say I go to church. My group, we sing the same song. We're gonna sing Color Purple. We've been singing it for years and years and years.
You're gonna sing Step to the Water?
Right. And love the song. Favorite song. But then we switch it up. And we take a trip. We sing that song. So now it's like, okay, I thought I wanted this song because I was gonna be excited, right?
Right.
But now you done gave me something else.
Something fresh.
Exactly. We've been eating steak with this Bloodline story. Now we about to get some lamb. And
that's expensive.
And it's easier. It's better for the digestive system.
It is. Yeah. It's a lot leaner.
Exactly. So that's what's got me excited. I want to see now, because now it's like, now it's you hear a lot from wrestlers. Shout out to Derek Frazier. When we started doing this, we was always around him a lot. And one of the things he said, man, look, sometimes if I have a bad day at work, I can go play heel and just relieve a lot of those frustrations. Part of what makes Jey Bougie so good is because, deep down inside, the person John who is a nice guy, very respectful young man. A boy, when he's Jey Bougie, it's a whole different ball game.
It's a different ball.
Yeah, facts.
And even like we've seen that with like a lot of other wrestlers, even like when Reverend Ron Hunt and that whole feud with Shane Taylor and Kenny King, all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
when you see all this, it makes it more exciting. So now we're gonna hear, because The Rock knows what people gonna say. Because I told y'all, he in the gym, he looking at the phone, he gonna talk about everybody talking about his bad movies, why he need the business, and he gonna make y'all sorry y'all ever disrespected his name.
Wow. Now see, Brother Hugh, I apologize. I should have went to you first. Because now to Brian H's point, when we talk about The Rock, he's what we're hearing is there's an evolution of what he was, right? And now it's like it's the next version of like, oh wow, we haven't seen this version of The Rock. Like, whereas this combination of all these different things that The Rock used to be, and then you take that on top of what he's giving you today, right? Which is fun and exciting. The Rock came out, he pretty much, his explanation for turning heels, he has an attitude. He said, we were going to give you the best WrestleMania main event of all time, and you crybaby blank blanks ruined it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that man is hilarious.
And he and that's like the driving force behind, like, this is why, like, we were doing you a favor by giving us the family. Now you try to deny us, and now like, no, you're going to get the family. How do you feel about this version of The Rock, where we're seeing shades of the old Rock, but we're also seeing it layered on top of the new Rock? How do you feel about this version of The Rock, the newest member of the board of TKO Sports, kind of making his presence felt in WWE, especially now aligning allegedly with the Bloodline?
I'm glad they made that change, because I didn't want Goody Two Shoes Rock. What I thought we were going to get. About it. To be honest, like, I mean, he's been Goody Two Shoes for how long now? Every time he returned, he's been, the people's champ Rock. Nah, let's start something different. Let's read the crowd. Let's get in there. Let's get into your heel mode and just take over and dominate. Do what you do. And that promo, like I said it before, it's corny, but it was great because we got that mixture of that old Rock
Mhm.
Hollywood, and the '90s rock.
There you
So
go.
it
Yeah.
was great in all aspects, you know. So hey, bro, I'm loving it. I'm loving it for sure.
Shout out to
Why
everybody in
was
the
it corny? I'm
I mean, it's the
curious.
same corny spiel, bro. Let's be
Okay.
honest. Let's be honest. Like after you hear it for so long, he's been doing this for how many years now? It's the same
What
spiel.
the promo?
The promo, the same style of promo. He's been doing the same thing for the years. The catchphrases, all that good stuff. And it's like I think at this time in this modern era, we're
Mm-hmm.
not really used to that type of promo. But the fact that he was able to bring it back
Mm-hmm.
and make it relevant, that's what's great about it. If you understand what I'm saying. So
Okay.
like from my viewpoint, it was just kind of corny because I heard it before plenty of
Mm.
times, and it's
I mean, we've been
not
around for a
seeing
while.
yeah, and not seeing him in the spotlight for a while, and then you see him come back and spit the same stuff, and it's like, all right, okay, Rob, we need something different. But he brought it. He still brought it and made it impactful. So
Mhm.
I can't. He's doing his thing right now. It's no wrong. I'm glad
Well,
Mm-hmm.
he'll
listen,
rock his head.
we'll get to the bottom of this because I wanted to kind of put that into the that's the meat and the potatoes of tonight's show. Is because we have
Yeah.
to address the Rock involved is his involvement in the bloodline and where do we go as far as WrestleMania is concerned. But before then, we kind of we have one last step. There's a few things
Hmm.
that has happened in you know that kind of goes along to this story involving the bloodline, right? But I think
Mm-hmm.
the next stop to WrestleMania will help us put these pieces together just a little bit more. So we're going to head to Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
We are as of Saturday. Where's my notes at? This is my other notes. Saturday, February 24th, 5 a.m. Is that Eastern time here? Eastern time here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Who
we're
getting
looking at
up with
Elimination
us?
Chamber in Perth, Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this also sets the tone for what happens next in regard to WrestleMania. We kind of
Hmm.
already have one situated storyline as far as a main event. We're still not sure where this is going to go, but we're
Mm-hmm.
going to decide who's going to challenge for the next world championships as far as the women and as far as the men are concerned. So, gentlemen, this is really usually this will be a Elimination Chamber preview show, but it's not too much to preview. But we're just going to jump right into it. Who wins this year's men's Elimination Chamber? First, let me ask you
Oh
this:
my gosh.
is this
Yeah.
the right audience? Like we have Kevin Owens, we have LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul. Are these the right gentlemen to be in the Elimination Chamber this year
Oh, that's a new question.
in Perth,
I know.
Australia? Think about it. Like
Uh,
there's a handful of contenders that are not involved. You know, for like a AJ Styles for one. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Who
the
else
only
lost?
the only one I'm not really sure of is Kevin Owens.
We'll talk about it. Why are you hating on
But
Kevin
yeah.
Owens? Wait a minute now. I thought you were going to say somebody. You threw me off, brother Hugh. Kevin Owens. What's going on?
Because
Why do you think
I'm no
Kevin Owens?
nothing against him. It's
Sure.
just if I had a choice to get rid of somebody or
Mhm.
somebody, the one that doesn't fit the most is Kevin Owens out of the crew. You got to
Okay.
think Randy Orton made a big return.
Sure.
He can't be out of it.
Mhm.
Bobby Lashley's hot right now. He can't be out of it.
Is he?
Logan,
Is he?
he is
Is
though.
he?
He's over. He's over.
He is.
He is over.
He is.
So
You know,
you
you don't
kind
care
of,
though.
and he's an established player. So like you
There
kind of
you
have to
go.
put him
Hey,
in
you're
there.
right. That's
Drew,
definitely a key figure.
we already know what Drew is about.
He's been on
LA
fire.
Knight, absolutely. LA
He's been
Knight,
on fire.
yes. Logan Paul, he's been on fire, but
He's
he
been on
also gives you
fire.
that. Yeah, he gives you that that he gives you the opportunity to have that spot monkey, that spot in the
There you
elimination
go.
chamber. He's going to do something spectacular. Kevin Owens, he fits,
Mhm.
but like I said, there's nothing against him. Just I see him as the weakest link.
Okay. So who do you? It's weird because he's like right in front of the graphic with the links on it.
Right.
So who do you replace Kevin Owens with? If you had just say right now, say brother Hugh, creatively we got to make an adjustment. We're not sure about Kevin. What direction do you think we should go in? Where do you go with that?
I believe honestly I would say Sammy is probably a better pick just for the simple fact that he has beef with Drew. He needs to be
Okay.
relevant again.
Hmm.
He just came back, so like
He's got his own story to
he
finish in a way, doesn't
yeah,
he?
he has his own story with the bloodline, all that good stuff. So yeah, he just makes a little bit more sense to me as opposed to Kevin Owens. And like I said again, nothing against Kevin Owens. He just doesn't fit. Like it's other people that we can put in there.
Okay, this is getting good. Brian H., what do you think? Are you okay with this year's Elimination Chamber group? Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul. Are you okay with this field, or do you feel the same way as Brother Hugh? And if you do, who do you feel should probably be, who would you add to the chamber if there's somebody that you prefer, or somebody that you're not really too high on right now to be in this match? Now this is a big show now. Remember, this is Perth, Australia. Like usually these are the in your house pay-per-views, but when they leave the country, these are almost like almost WrestleMania-esque. Like this is like it's like a run through. You know what I mean? Like these are beyond stadium shows. Like these are like big time premium events. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I can't take nobody out.
Okay,
it's because it's only a 4-match show, plus the segment with Seth Rollins and Cody, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I wish Bronson Reed could have been in this year's, especially he was in there last year's. But let's face it, it's kind of like one of those things where you can put him in if he takes out Bobby Lashley because he has that beef with Karrion Kross. So you can kind of get Bobby out of the match, but it's like because it's going all the way to Perth, you don't go all the way to Perth to do something like that.
Sure.
So that's the thing that's confusing. Logan Paul's a star. Randy Orton, you got people who want to see Randy.
Global.
Exactly. LA Knight, you trying to make him into that next big thing.
Guy,
And I think the feud with LA Knight and Logan Paul starts now.
Yep.
To take us into Mania. So
you don't think that that Kevin Owens and Logan Paul are not going to continue their story?
It'll be finished. Be maybe like a week or two on the SmackDown. Okay, I don't think KO is weird, man. Because
I never liked him on SmackDown. Let me just say that I hate him.
You
always said
SmackDown.
He's just like SmackDown. At one point was like considered the land of opportunity for guys. You know what I mean? Even as early as like 16ish. Remember when we had AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal? That kind of, you know what I mean? Like they were carrying the show at one point. And Kevin Owens was on that part of that group, but he was a United States champion. And I was like, dude, this isn't it. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. But continue, sir.
Yeah, no. So that's the thing. I just don't think. To me, he's like the odd man out. But at the same time, if you kind of want to like, I don't know, have Sammy come from the ground up and possibly finagle his way into a world title match. But then I don't know. To me, it's just Drew McIntyre's match. Like
is that kind of obvious at this point?
He's hit a new
I feel like we're
level.
gonna get some shenanigans, man. We're gonna get some shenanigans. Grayson Waller's gonna come out. Maybe Austin Theory come out and mess around with Kevin Owens, get him eliminated, help out Logan Paul. And that'll start something else up. I guess his program for WrestleMania or whatnot.
So are we in agreement that we are expecting this particular match to set us up for other stories going into WrestleMania? Because about a week or two ago, we had the conversation like, man, it seems like that whole press conference, that whole presser around WrestleMania was solely around the main event. And you were like, wait a minute, we got like about 2 months until the actual show, and like we don't know what the other matchups are, because the focus just was on just so monumental on We Want Cody, then The Rock, and then the Bloodline itself, which just overshadows everything. So are we in agreement that the Elimination Chamber is going to help kind of navigate the next feuds going into WrestleMania?
I think so.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. So let's just call it while we got it right now. So who are we calling to win this match for the Elimination Chamber? We all saying Drew McIntyre? Is it that obvious?
Yeah, he coming out with broken dreams.
You got to let it go, man.
He gonna do it the same way he did in the castle. Just the intro.
He was in Wales. That doesn't count. Like we're in Perth, Australia.
No, it's too much of a pop. But yeah, no, Drew is on another level, man.
He has to win.
I think he wins it, and this is the moment he gets. It's like, sheesh.
They owed it to him. This is his moment.
This Drew McIntyre.
He has stumbled into a situation by accident that I think it's going to work out wonders for him, because it's hard to stay a main event player. You know what I mean? And he has done an excellent job of staying relevant and staying in that space for such a long time. And then, like I say, with these unfortunate accidents, he's the only one that's been on a roll since the beginning. He's been picking with CM Punk. He's been picking with Seth Rollins. He's been picking with everybody. I'm just like, dude, he's the only one that's in the forefront that doesn't have a title around his waist. So it's like, well, shoot, he's already there. Let's just continue to go with it. So we're just going to call a spade, and we're going to say this is Drew McIntyre's match to lose. So Elimination Chamber, we are calling for Drew McIntyre to win. So let's head over to the Women's Chamber. Bam. So the women's match that we have set for the Women's World Championship match, which means the winner receives a title shot for the Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania 40. We have a returning Naomi. We have Liv Morgan. We have the man Becky Lynch. We have the sultry Bianca Belair. She's absolutely stunning. We have Tiffany Stratton, who was earned her way, and then we have Raquel Rodriguez, excuse me, who is also returning. Set up for this Elimination Chamber match. Now, this one is a little perplexing to me. And you guys are higher up on women's wrestling than I am. So, and I say that because you guys have worked in the industry. You guys have worked with women's wrestlers in multiple areas and in multiple situations, whether it's creative, whether it's live shows, whether it's backstage stuff. So I need your expertise on this. When I look at this particular chamber, it seems biased to me, right? We have our main event set with Bayley and Io Sky on one end. Now we're looking for the next contender for either Rhea Ripley or Nia Jax, which we're going to get to in a moment. When I see this card, I'm like, okay, I see a returning face. I see like 3 returning faces, 2 solid foundations, and a newcomer. Does this seem pretty balanced to you all, or would you guys prefer a little bit more established heavy hitters rather than, these kind of fresh faces looking to establish a name for themselves?
This is
for this
perfect
particular
for
chamber
me.
match.
This right here, this is perfect
Okay,
because of everything you just said.
perfect.
Literally, returner, the solid main eventers. Like we're in an era. Just thinking, all of those ladies, with the exception of Naomi, had prominent runs on NXT. Naomi, a FCW person. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she goes way back.
You also have 2 black women.
The
You
social,
have the Irish women.
the man.
Exactly. And a Hispanic woman. And 2 white women. So all of this, and then you just look at it's so diverse. If this isn't a diversity poster, like Tiffany Stratton was somebody that when you first look at her, he's like, oh man, they got a new Trish Stratus or Mandy Rose and this, that, and the other. But man, in 10 minutes, she'll make you forget about all of them. And not forget isn't disrespecting them, but you won't compare her no more. And that was key with her matches with Becky Lynch. You never, after when they had their feud at NXT, I remember tweeting, she did something, and I said, don't ever compare her to none of the other blonde bombshells because she's her own woman. I mean, she's trained by Greg Gagne.
Oh wow.
If that doesn't,
I did not know. That's news to me.
Yeah. She talked about it with Kaz and Dave on The Masked Man. She's trained by them.
AWA legend.
Exactly. So, and then to see like Bianca and Becky being your vets in there, it's just, man, this is everything. Like I said, and I think it's Becky Lynch's match. Especially just because, again, we know so much. We know she got a book coming, but
you always spilling the tea.
If I'm gonna make a swerve, give me
swerve when you drive.
Cover, 2K cover, WrestleMania match, Bianca versus Rhea.
Yeah, it is.
All right. See, this is why I'm confused, because this is what Triple H does. He tricks us. It's because those 2 matchups both can be huge box office draws.
Crazy. Yes.
And then I'm always thinking to myself, okay, so if Becky Lynch wins, bam, what do you do with Bianca? Okay, if Bianca wins, bam, what do you do with Becky Lynch? And you want to give them meaningful things because you don't want to make the women and give them throwaway opportunities and programs because now, you know what I mean, we're not being fair as far as how we're trying to depict our women as superstars, not just lady wrestlers, you know?
Yep.
So
Right.
this has me most perplexed and interested. But Brother Hugh, who do you feel like wins this year's women's Elimination Chamber match and to receive a women's world title shot at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia?
Well, the way they're teasing it, it makes
Don't
sense for
tiptoe.
Becky to win.
Okay,
It makes sense for Becky to win it.
sure.
But I'm once again looking at Bianca because she came out, she cut that promo at the kickoff,
Mm-hmm.
talking about how she made it. Well, she had what basically three moments at WrestleMania, the past three WrestleManias. So what's in store for her this time? So I can kind of
Mm-hmm.
see her winning it and facing Rhea. But also, if she doesn't win, I'm looking at a feud maybe with Tiffany. That would be great.
Okay.
You know, and
You talk about going
and
into
you
WrestleMania.
yeah, and you still have Jade out there too. You don't know what's going on with them and the Kabuki Warriors and all of that. That's the person I'm looking at. I'm looking at Bianca. She
Okay.
has a lot to win right now. You know what I mean? Because like you said, she's on the cover of the game and whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
Becky, she has the book coming out, so it's literally those two. Those are the two that I'm looking at. But I feel like
Triple H
if Becky,
purpose.
I feel like if Becky doesn't win, she has Nia to fall back on. You know,
Yeah, that's true. And now
same
I guess
and
we're just
like
assuming Nia is not going to beat Rhea Ripley.
nah, that's not gonna happen. I don't
Okay.
think that's gonna happen at all.
What
And
about
then
what about
you can't kick out Liv too. Liv, this is her fourth elimination chamber, so she has experience.
She's the
She's
most.
gonna show out too.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
She's Miss Elimination
Yeah,
Chamber.
she is clearly reliable in these situations.
but
What say
it's
you,
literally
Brian
those
H?
two.
You
Yep,
say who?
it's literally those two. Those are the
Yeah.
two key points right there. Key
What about
people.
you, Brian H? How you feel about this year's women's elimination chamber match? Who do you think comes out alive for a title shot at WrestleMania?
I'm gonna go with Becky, but I feel like she got a chance to steal the show. Shout out to A Lane saying that saying Raquel could get the W. I don't
Facts.
see it, and I see what said. See what they said. No beef with Rhea though, but I mean the championship is always beef, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
Facts. That's it.
But it's the money that and Rhea and Bianca's gonna want that moment, but I just feel that. Maybe I'm hoping I'm not gonna work myself into the shoot.
Wishing
You
and
brought up the
hoping
Kabuki
and thinking
Warriors,
and praying. Really?
man. Bianca and Jade.
I knew it. As soon as you said it, I was like, I knew it.
Facts. See?
Bianca and Jade, man.
That looks good.
I'm get me the action figures now because y'all niece.
Bro.
It
First of
She
looks
all,
already
good,
got the
bro.
little plush Bianca doll. So
both those women are built like action figures. You talking about, oh my
Yes.
goodness, it's like statues.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's Bianca's moment right there. Yep.
I don't know if it's just the WWE flair, but Jade looks that much more gorgeous in WWE
What?
cameras than she does in AEW. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because like she started wearing the long hair, looks like Storm from X-Men, or what's going on.
You remember at church
Hey, bro.
when they
Oh
would
my
when
gosh.
they would have all the old cameras
Oh yeah,
in the basement?
yep.
That's what WWE did to AEW.
Yeah, kind of. That's a good way of putting it. If
I'm
people just
joking.
only knew,
Y'all know when people gonna get mad. What you doing there? Why ain't AEW? They don't get those cameras. They're $1 billion company too. So Did you see O'Shea Jackson Jr.?
I listen. I know he did the interview with Chris Van Vliet. I have not watched it
Yep.
because I want to.
Yeah.
I got time to sit back and literally let me give me a good hour and a half and just watch this thing.
I listened to it in the car. Yeah, shout out to Chris, man. He knows the questions to ask, man.
Journalism at its finest.
Oh, and that's the thing people don't realize. Like when he had McKenzie on his show, he
Right.
talked about his getting his start in the business over in like one of the local radio stations, and a lot of the times I always tell people, a lot of us out here, we're not just marks with a mic. from
Sure.
Amazon. You know, we
You said
we
from
know,
Amazon.
yo, we know what we doing, man. We go to these. We sat in them classrooms.
Yeah.
You know,
Back when production was way harder than it is now.
Mm,
talk about it.
mm,
Cameras was
mm.
big. What was your camera called that you loved?
Oh my gosh, the
The
HMC
HMC.
150.
Yeah,
The Panasonic HMC 150. I was obsessed with that camera.
I think you should get it just because, even if you
Bro,
don't use it.
I
'Cause
I
you
used one
love
the
that
other I
camera,
used one
bro.
the other day.
Wow.
They on the job, well, not the other day,
Mhm.
but before Christmas break,
Mhm.
we were doing a like a staging a program video for American Sign Language. And they had a press conference set up,
Oh,
and they
wow.
wanted me to bring a camera, and they literally had an older one, you know, it's
Mhm.
the size of a boombox, like the bag, you know how the bags we used to carry.
Yep.
And you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the HMC. It was one of the advanced, it had like a P2 card in it, you know, whatever the advanced version was.
Wow.
Same thing, yeah.
Oh, snap.
And
Okay.
I said, like, we set it up, and I was like, I'm gonna plug it up, see if it actually works. And I found a battery charger, and best believe I turned it on. And I was like, wow, it don't even look the same. Like, you get more quality on these iPhones than you do on those big dogs that we used to be obsessed. We like, man, if we could just get one of these Panasonic HMC 150. They were like
Yo,
$4,000.
Yep.
But
Mm, mm, mm.
yeah, I trust me.
Yeah.
I look one up though. I said, man, let me see if it's on eBay. I know they got to be cheap now. Nobody wants these things anymore.
Mhm.
But
That's the crazy part of the video quality.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's the crazy part, the video quality. You look at it like through the viewfinder, like, ugh, this looks like
Mhm.
VHS tapes. But that's neither here nor there, man. This is production, like you said, brother. This isn't our first rodeo. We've been doing this production thing for a long time.
Mhm.
But speaking of production, when you look at the main event for the women's, we have a women's world title match between Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Now we know
Mhm.
that Rhea Ripley is in her home country, her home
Yep.
continent of Australia. I don't know what part of
So
Australia
is Naya.
what?
Yeah. She was
Nia is
born in
not.
Australia.
See what?
She was born in Australia.
Are you
Mm.
serious?
I'm dead serious.
Sydney.
Yeah.
No. Are you kidding me?
Yup.
What?
Mhm.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I just learned that. But
I
you know what
had
I
no
did, brother?
idea.
I
So
threw it
now,
in the
look,
Google machine, and I'm not comfortable that they got Nia Jax weight on Google.
that's
I
not
don't.
nice.
That's not
She
nice
has
at all.
lost a lot of weight, and she looks
I-
absolutely stunning. That's not okay.
Oh my God, she is
you
beautiful,
gotta,
bro.
you
Yeah,
gotta see her in person.
I hope
intoxicating.
so.
Aura, just the aura, like you can see she's happy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she
Yeah.
does. She
Yeah.
wears her happiness. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But shout out to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair helped her on her fitness journey to help her,
Yeah.
you know, get to a healthier state where she could feel that way about herself. But that makes our question that much more intriguing, is because this week's Good for Business, Bad for Business is the conversation about Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. Is this the right main event for such a major show in Perth, Australia for Elimination Chamber? So, gentlemen, I present to you as we work our way to the main event of our show and get into the bloodline, because there's some stuff that's going on. Is this good for business or bad for business? Two native Australians. I'm just calling her native Nia because
Well,
she was born there.
right. You grew up in San Diego. I
Right.
mean,
It's
yeah,
just like, well, she was born
California.
there. So
Well,
she's a native
Honolulu,
Australian.
Hawaii, and then, but yeah, we're gonna go where she was born. You know how it was, man. The business dictated. You know.
Of course. And you know, even like in New Zealand, they're that's not too far from the Pacific Islands. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they share a lot of similar cultural elements. You know, we think
I
about the
can tell,
haiku
brother
and all
Hugh
of
did
those.
this picture.
He picked the most glamorous photo of Nia Jax. Did you see?
Yeah, I sure enough did. I
That's
was
why he
searching
was
for a
sitting there like,
while
yo,
too.
she is gorgeous, because he's been
Yeah.
sitting
She
on this graphic all day just looking at it.
is. Yeah. Exactly. You're daggone right.
She used to be a model before she was a wrestler, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if she's serving face, it's because this isn't her first rodeo.
That's true.
This is the brief pause. Hush over the crowd. Anyway, good for business, bad for business, gentlemen. Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. Brother Hugh, I'm because you cracked first. So now I'm gonna force you to answer the question while you're trying to get yourself together. That's how you get honest answers. Is this the right main event for Perth, Australia Elimination Chamber for the Women's World Championship. Nia Jax versus Rhea
absolutely.
Ripley. Why is that,
Absolutely.
sir?
I mean, because for obvious reasons, it's in Australia, and
Mhm.
your biggest superstar, women's superstar, or, one of the biggest superstars on the roster right now is Rhea Ripley. So why not give her a moment? You know, and the fact that she's going against Nia Jax makes it even better
Mhm.
because Nia is pretty much the only person that you can see possibly standing up to Rhea and really beating her.
She has been very
Just
dominant since her return.
yes,
So I agree
just
with
going
you.
off the way they built this story
Mhm.
between those two, yeah, that's the only formidable opponent that I can see right now. Besides Becky,
Right.
of course, later on down the line, but
Oh yeah.
it's a perfect matchup. It's
Brian
a
H.
believe like I can honestly see Nia
Mhm.
knocking her off, but let's be honest, it's not going to happen. Rhea
Now
is just too big of a star.
the age-old adage. You know what they say about most people drop the
Yeah.
title at home.
British book.
would this
Yep. Mm-hmm.
would this shake things up for WrestleMania if Nia Jax were to win
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
to
For sure.
drop it to like a Becky Lynch maybe at
For sure.
WrestleMania to give Becky Lynch her moment? Triple H does.
See,
See, there,
goddamn.
yes, there you go. Now you got to rethink it. Brian H. Let's let Brother Hugh get himself together. Good for business or bad for business? Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. Is this the right main event for the women's world championship in Perth, Australia for Elimination Chamber?
Oh, it's great for business, man. It's good for everything because just the image right here.
Mhm.
Rhea has been on a dominant run,
Yes.
and now you see her against Nia Jax, and Nia has been known to knock them women out. She done already busted Becky
He was ready
open
to say
in her
something else,
return.
Brother Hugh.
Right.
So
he had to catch himself. This is
nah,
on censor.
I wasn't gonna say that word.
Okay, because it seems like you was ready. It seems
No, I would
like you
use
was
that
He's
when it
ready to go
comes,
there.
to define. That's their license, not mine. But she's been known to do that. So because of that,
known to
this
knock
is a naysayer. So
knock a naysayer out. Perfect.
but now so because of that, it's this collision course. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
That's a
And
great way of putting it.
so Rhea's biggest challenge. It
is.
Rhea is on China levels. Let's be real, because she's been like Steph Curry, just a hot hand. Everything she
Yeah.
touched, buckets. But
That is
now
true.
it's time to go against a super team,
Mhm.
and can she get over the super team? So this is great for business. I'm excited for it. There you go again.
Look at her. Mm-mm-mm.
I can't help it. She doing all the good work. Look at her.
Yeah, she gonna have
He said he can't help it.
Did you watch Total Divas?
I did faithfully.
She gonna have you
I
paint
didn't
her
watch it
house.
faithfully.
They was one. Brother Hugh. Wait. Talk about Brother Hugh. Do you watch Total Divas when it was out?
I watched a couple episodes. I wasn't like
Listen, before
invested in it.
later in the seasons, man, before they went pandemic, they had a girls trip. They went. It got a little wet and wild. Remember the Bellas took on a camping trip?
Yeah.
Let's just say at the end of the night on one of the episodes, it got real nude in a hot tub with all the girls just letting it loose. And Nia Jax was one of them.
Oh Lord. So
Yeah.
what episode was that?
I don't know which one. I just remember it was towards that the later seasons, like I said, before things was right about to shut down. Natalia,
Oh,
the Bellas, Nia, who else was with them?
Was Trinity with him?
I don't think she was with him on that trip. She might have been. Because because Jonathan Fatu don't play that. So I knew she wasn't
right.
she wasn't about to
Right.
jump in that hot tub all
What
drippy.
about Paige?
Paige, yes. Yes, the son, yes. The Pale
Well,
Princess.
I think I have a rabbit hole to go down. Huh?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think you
boy.
do. Can you watch Total Divas on demand? Is it on E? Is it on E? You watch it on E? E on demand?
I don't know.
It should be.
You find it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can find
I will
YouTube
find it.
clips.
Look it up
Right.
on E. Look it up on E on demand. E. Total Divas, man.
E.
Was it on E? It was on E,
It
right?
was.
Yeah, it was on E. On E. So I think we can agree that it's obviously good for business. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. I think they work well together. They bounce off each
They
other
do.
well
They do.
as far as their chemistry, and they have a different dominance, right? One has one level of dominance and the other has another. So
Right.
I think they match up very well. And I think this is going to set the tone for WrestleMania. We often talk about when you're a champion or your challenger has to get ready for that next level. And I think like you said, Brother Hugh, Nia Jax is another one of those challenges for Rhea Ripley. Because think about it, Rhea Ripley lost to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania during the pandemic. She gave up the NXT champion, and we were like, "You got to lose that first one." It's because this is where you're going to learn everything, and then it's going to be your turn to main event these WrestleManias or be in the same spot that she was. And this is where Rhea Ripley is now. Think about it. Ever since she lost to Charlotte in WrestleMania, she has completely become like the centerfold for women's wrestlers, and I know it's not easy for them to get over. And I'm talking like not like in the women's segment. I'm talking about just superstars. Like your name, your image, your likeness, NIL is on like front and center. It's not just like, okay, you're the hottest of the women's segment. Like, nah, you're the hottest segment. You know what I mean? It's like a black artist trying to, you got the number one soul record, but you're trying to get on the pop charts. You're trying to get the top 100. You're trying to cross over. Right. And I think that's very important between the two. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we all agree that it's good for business. Obviously, this matchup, I'm looking forward to it. I think they're going to do very well. I think Rhea Ripley's going to show off, being back in her home continent. So we're looking forward to this matchup between Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. We agree it is good for business. Speaking of good for business, the Bloodline. They've got some unfinished business because and we saw some with this. What's going on with this, man? What's going on with your boy Brian? This is your people, because this is ridiculous. We're watching Monday Night Raw. Championship Culture had just did a full episode on how the Intercontinental Championship running through the Bloodline. That was the whole focal point of the show. If you missed the show, head over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm Championship Culture playlist. I believe it's episode 4. They talk about the lineage of the Intercontinental Championship involved in the Bloodline and all the major players that played major parts in developing the importance of that championship. And we all sat there and we watched that show, and we followed up the following week on the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, and we said that we believe that Jey Uso could potentially be the next one in line. Now we knew he had the odds stacked against him, going against Gunther and Imperium. We knew what it was, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. But we were convinced, like, man, he's got the momentum. He's got the crowd behind him. This is his chance to win his first major singles title. And what do we get? Jimmy Uso sticking his nose. It's not funny. It's not funny, Brian. Jimmy Uso sticking his nose in his brother's business again, making it very clear, like, nah, you're not getting no singles title before I do. First of all, Jimmy Uso can't catch a break because they interfered. They interfered in the match between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes to start the show off. And he goes to dap up his baby brother because it's like 8-year difference between them two. And Solo just left him hanging. He just got his hand out. Did you see that? He's like, he's trying to dap him up, and he left him hanging. I'm like, Jimmy Uso can't catch a break, but here he goes again. Like, these guys are on different shows, and Jimmy has gone out his way to pick a fight with Jey Uso this close to WrestleMania. What in the world is going on? What is Jimmy trying to accomplish? What is the Bloodline trying to do? We understand Rock, we understand Cody, but what's going on here? Why did Jimmy Uso interfere in this match with Jey Uso and Gunther?
He told him,
and he
can't do it without me.
He's trying to find his way onto the WrestleMania card too.
He can't do it without him because he keeps interfering.
Yep. He's gonna bring Jey back to the Bloodline.
There's no way in the world.
That's the end goal.
Now, why is he trying to bring it back to the blood? Is he trying to bring it back because he feel like as a group they'll be stronger together, or does he just want him to get back in line because he doesn't want his technically he's I think Jonathan is what, like 7 minutes older than Jey.
He's a couple minutes older, yeah. It's a couple minutes.
So like technically in their culture, he's twins or not, he's considered the older brother, and that's what they have to abide by.
Right. He wants him to get back in line because of that. Like you said, he's the big brother, and Little brother's still in the spotlight. He said it. Like, you're getting too big right now. Just remember, I'm the older brother. I'm always the bigger brother. I'm always going to be that. So that's one part of it. But the second part is, look how strong the bloodline is supposedly right now. And I'm doing rabbit ears with that. Like,
Yo, we gonna get to it.
yeah, look how strong the bloodline is. So imagine if Jay come back home, then they can go
No,
and maybe
that's cheap.
take.
That's
Hey,
DX.
bro.
NWO.
Yes,
That's too much, man. The
exactly.
Rock, they was bad enough by themselves on their own. You talking about adding the Rock into the mix now? That's too much.
Crazy.
What about you, Brian H? What's up with your people?
Man, look, Jay got to fall in line.
No, there you go.
He got to fall in line. I wanted, but I did. I was like, Jimmy, let him win the IC title, then go take it from him.
Dylan said it first.
Right. But Brian H, how does that happen though? You know, we have officials now. You know, Nick Aldis is trying to tighten things up now. You have Adam Pearce trying to tighten things up. He made it very clear there will be heavy fines handed down. Like Raw and SmackDown, there's no love lost between the competitive general managers, right? And we're not talking about talent exchanges. And the only reason we're seeing competing show talent on the same show is because they're all competing for same spots. You know, a couple of weeks ago we talked about it. We said we wonder how they're gonna decide who goes into the chamber with, you know, sharing talent between two shows. And they said they went out of their way to say we have contractually come to an agreement that our talents will mix for this one opportunity. So they're being intentional about letting you know, like, listen, this isn't the old school Raw Super Show where it's a Monday Night Raw and it's a Super Show and SmackDown fun under it, right? So it's like, is that a good strategy, Brian H, for him to let Jay win it and then try to capture it? Like, how's he gonna get to SmackDown? We still don't know how that happened. How Cody Rhodes pulled that off. He said he had to do something. Like, look, man, we had to pull a few strings.
Yeah, we're still waiting to find out. But you know, I mean, Roman's the tribal chief, you know, and Jake and he's the tribal chief, and Jay is under his tribe, regardless of whether he want to act like it or not. So
that's a good point.
Jimmy would have sent him, like, he would send Jimmy, like, look, go get that belt. Your brother don't want to fall in line. He want to say yeet. Go get that title. You know, and they clearly come to wreak havoc because it ain't just with it wasn't just with Jimmy. I mean, Jay, you know, so the bloodline is clearly wreaking havoc because we, you know, got to reestablish dominance.
Is that what's going on, Brother Hugh? Are they trying to reestablish dominance, or are they just being a butt?
Both. But yeah,
would you do that to Dathan? Would you do that to him? See?
Yeah,
it's your family.
He would cost him.
Listen, Brother Hugh I swear, if it was instant replay, like he paused for a second and looked off, like, well, I don't know. I don't think
leg smacking off.
Right.
I was like, see, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, let me put it back. Let me put you in the right mental state. Just if he was getting too much shine, if he was whatever, you decided, wait a minute now. We brothers and all, but god dang, just think about
it. WrestleMania season, man.
Nature.
It's WrestleMania season, yes.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I said
this
this
is a dream match.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad. I was about to say it's a dream matchup for them anyway.
It is.
We already know this.
What they want. This so are we saying that is this a setup for WrestleMania, brothers?
Yes,
is this what we're looking
of
at?
Course.
Okay, Brian, did you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Jimmy. Okay, so once again, we the Wrestling Wrealm, so we take stuff a step further. We go a little bit deeper.
Right.
Jimmy versus Jay, WrestleMania. Is this the year for it? Is this the right build-up? Is this the right time for it? Think about it. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns last year. I said, finish the story. I was disappointed when Cody lost. I said, dude, how? Like, you did all this, and then you
had
saw
nice shirts
that
looked like WrestleMania 7.
Yeah, he just won't let it go. And then when you saw what followed, and the stories left for the bloodline to tell, you were like, oh, okay, well, all right. And then you look at now this long-term build up to like Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns this year is like on a completely different level compared to anything he did last year. Like, it fails a comparison. And I'm like, dang it. this that Dusty Rhodes Triple H stuff, because now this WrestleMania makes more sense than last WrestleMania. Like him losing leads to this. And like, yeah, I would have been happy he won, but he was like, look, if all these other guys didn't, Cody Rhodes respectfully felt like, if I just come in from an outside company and win the championship or Roman and just beat him, you know, what does that say about everybody else that contended for this championship? Like, you just downplay the entire roster because everybody lost to him for whatever reason. And all of a sudden now the outsider leaves, comes in after being away, and he just wins like that. And now it's the Cody Rhodes era. And I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, he ain't that good.
And that's
Dang.
what he was pretty much saying. Like, that's bad storytelling. He wanted, he still had the hero's journey. You know, we talk about old school literature, stuff we read in high school. Like, he was still living out those themes. Like, the hero's got to go through more adversity to get to this point. He's got to have yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, here we are now. Do we need to see the same thing between Jimmy and Jey? Or are we okay with like, okay, this is the time. This is the time to finally tell the story between Jimmy and Jey. It's because if Jey beats Jimmy, what's the benefit of it? He beats him, so what? Just, you know what I mean? Oh, he finally puts him away. Like, they're not on the same show. It's one thing if they were on the same show, right? And imagine every opportunity Jey got, Jimmy just always interfered. Didn't matter what he was doing. Like, he couldn't get away from his brother. You'd be like, I gotta get away from this. Losers gotta leave Raw. Losers gotta leave SmackDown. But like, okay, so they wrestle at WrestleMania. They have their match. Jey wins. Jimmy goes back to SmackDown. Jey goes back to Raw. Where's the follow-up? Is there follow-up? Does there need to be more build-up for Jimmy versus Jey?
No, he already cost him 3 titles.
Yeah.
Cost him a WWE title, US title, Intercontinental title. That's enough.
That's enough right there.
And it's been happening since August. You know, he blindsided him. He's like, I try to get away. Because essentially, it's like Jay's trying to avoid this fight.
Yeah.
So now it's like Kane and Undertaker. And to the point, like, you know what? I can't take it no more. Now it's time to go to work. You know, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy.
Yeah. There's always this button pushing that goes on. Yeah.
And guess what? That and even Brett and Owen, those stories wasn't nowhere near as long as this one.
No,
because Jay and Jimmy go back as far as Jimmy. Well, yeah, but also Jay. Remember when Roman wanted Jimmy to fall in line and then Jay left because they couldn't get themselves together. You know what I mean? And then them accepted Sammy into the fold, and he was the last one to do so. You know, it's kind of like it goes back so far. Like, dude, you don't trust me. Like when Jimmy came back and he was like, oh man, we could do our own thing. And Jay's like, well, nah, we kind of, you know, and then he tried to talk to him all sideways, calling him all types of things like, oh man, you know, that's why Jimmy came out with the shirt. Nobody's, you know, so it goes back so far. So it's like, yeah, it's time. Jay gotta like, you know what? Now I gotta lay you, I gotta put you down. You know, cost me so much money, you know, cost me my sanity, my mental health. And I didn't do it because you're my twin brother. He gonna have to go to his little son. He's gonna have to have a conversation. Look, daddy gotta put Unc down. You know, they don't even take like when they barely take pictures together. They was at one of the weddings, and I think somebody covered one of their faces. You know, it's man. Daggone Sami Zayn.
So you're saying it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. Yeah, pull the trigger.
Okay.
Should have never let Sammy in the bloodline.
Like Dylan said, it might be like a best of 3 or something. You might get a nice little series out of this.
That's another thing. So like every WrestleMania match doesn't have to be a culmination. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just the beginning, or you might be in the middle of the story that you're trying to tell. So that's also
we know AJ Styles good for that.
Yeah, what the AJ Styles has had great matches everywhere but WrestleMania.
Right.
Because now I'm trying to figure out what the heck is he going to do for WrestleMania now.
You know, his best match at WrestleMania was with, right?
Shinsuke.
Not at all.
It wasn't Shinsuke.
No, it was
Shane McMahon.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that wasn't.
When they opened up 33, that was arguably match of the night.
I blame Vince McMahon.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, technically, the match of the night was the pre-show with Austin. I was about to say Austin Rivers. Goodness gracious.
Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin Aries
and Neville.
Neville, that was
the Cruiserweight Championship. And then they had the nerve to cut that match from the DVD. That's what Yeah, that's what put Neville over the edge. He's like, I'm done with this company. I'm going home. Give me my release or I'm sitting out.
Dude missed out on so much money.
He didn't care, bro. And then he got
No,
stuck.
because
Remember,
of
he had
that.
visa issues.
Because LA, I mean, the most that's the most sold DVD, regardless, just because people want to have WrestleMania in their collection.
And that's how
So he
people got
missed
their
out.
paydays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virgil,
That's
your big
man's
homie
right.
not
Brian
doing
ain't
too
his
well.
favorite wrestler, right?
Yeah,
But
that's his favorite wrestler. Yeah.
You see how he tried to
he,
put it on me?
yeah, it's your big
Yeah.
homie.
Mhm.
But he even said like, yo, he was getting nice royalty checks.
I got a check for $5,000 last week. He was like, what?
That's
Okay.
when he tried to recruit the
Tell us
realness
personal
to be
business.
on to be a wrestler. He was gonna be his manager. He was his
Virgil's gonna be that guy
back.
to ride the wave and then like take me all the towns and I gotta pay him a certain fee. Like, all right, now how much you got tonight, young fella? Oh, you gave me about 500. I need about 350 of that.
Oh man, it's so true because that definitely be happening.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was especially in the 90s.
Bro,
Yes.
it be happening today. And these wrestlers you get
today?
25. Yes, bro. You know what it is? I'm gonna let y'all know a secret.
Uh-oh.
Wrestlers don't watch wrestling DVDs. They think they too cool. A lot of wrestlers think they too cool to watch wrestling. And so like I always give Jay Bougie his props, right? Him and Amber, two people I would sit there and talk about stuff. And it was like, well, yeah, in the documentary, this, that, and the other. I was like, oh, so you watch? It's like, bro, Bougie be like, bro, the answers are all right there. Like,
True.
if you watch Triple H's documentaries and Paul Heyman's documentary, they're all right there. I learned a lot of wrestlers don't watch wrestling documentaries. And it's literally the biggest cheat code to the business.
It really is, though. Especially the ones like this. That's the truth, though. Like, how do you think we got so hip to everything? Exactly. We didn't just watch the product. Like, we were DVD kings.
All day.
We want to know what was going on, exactly what you was thinking. And then it's like when
access now.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, especially now. And then like when you hear other stories, you're like, okay, cool. Like, the biggest thing we used to talk about was what happened with WCW. So we had the original Monday Night Wars DVD that was like brief, but then like when they came out with the rise and fall of WCW, you were like, oh, okay, this is what they're talking about. And then like years later, once again, when Eric Bischoff comes out with his book, and then he does another series of special. Now you start to put all these pieces together, like, okay, it makes sense. But yeah, man, man. So we talking Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania. Let's move on to the next part of the bloodline. We're getting back to The Rock, and this is where we wrap up the show. The Rock is done. He makes his comments. This is what I was afraid of. Like, okay, The Rock coming back. He's being rare form. Tell me why. We're not the only ones who thought this, by the way. This is why we talking about this now. Everybody's not so convinced that everything is okay with this photo.
It's so peachy.
Like, everybody's not convinced. Like, man, they feel like something is up. Why is that, Brian? Why do you feel like there's a chink in the armor? Because when we see the bloodline right now, at one point, we're like, man, they're at full strength. But then The Rock comes out as a full heel. He's got that Versace vest on, shades, and diamonds around his neck. And all of a sudden, now people are saying, I don't think I'm buying The Rock's loyalty to Roman Reigns. What's going on here, Brian H? The title of today's show was, do you smell what the bloodline is cooking? Or does something seem strange to you? I'm gonna go on the record and say something seems a little off about this. I don't know about you, brother Hugh. I don't. Brian H isn't gonna be in denial about it. That's why I'm asking him first.
Absolutely.
You guys see something strange about this whole situation? I don't know, man. Something seems off. Am I tripping? Is the world tripping?
You're not tripping at all.
When I was on YouTube, everybody did shows about this. I'm like, okay, so we're not the only one talking about this. I looked, I said, okay, so it's a couple people that's doing shows about this. What say you, Brian H? Brother, you just pay attention to see what he says. Let's see where he goes. Go ahead, Brian H. Does something seem a little off about this whole situation to you?
I mean, did you see the family tree?
Yes,
whose name had something.
Beautiful. They need to send that out in a graphic. Like, please put that out. Like, make that public.
Right.
Like, that needs to go on a wall somewhere.
The Rock as the High Chief. So he's different. That's the reason why they all throw their ones up, except The Rock throws what he throws up because he's the High Chief. He's been sent.
What is he throwing up, Brian H? What are you saying? Why?
See, that's a secret.
Now, is that a secret that The Rock knows? But does the Bloodline notice, or do they know it and we're just outsiders because we're not culturally involved?
Bingo.
Okay.
Yeah, bingo. Oos.
No.
Okay, alrighty then.
No, I checked. It's okay to say oos. I saw a bunch of
it means
people
brother.
saying that on the but
Now you just there's nothing wrong with double checking.
Can we keep it real? Let me be real with y'all.
What's
This
that?
might be
What's
a little controversial. There was a time in 7th grade when the cornballs of the class, Brother Hugh remember this because they was his
The
best friends.
G1Ps.
They decided to troll us. Was walking around and say, yo, hey yo.
Oh,
Sounds
see,
just like
that's a
that.
little okay. Sounds a little
It sounds
racist.
just like that.
Sounds a
Yeah.
little racist.
So
I'm getting little racial vibes based off how you said it and the tone of it.
So and I remember being so pissed off because like y'all, I done went to school with y'all since kindergarten.
Mhm.
Y'all mofos ain't never say yo. All of a sudden, now y'all trying to troll us. You know, because truth be told, I ain't start saying until 5th grade. That's when black side came out.
Yeah.
So I had to
when my
do
black side came out.
yeah.
Yep.
So I had to last year during the Elimination Chamber before the main event. I sat there with the homie and I asked, "Is it okay?" Because I do not want to be disrespectful to nobody's culture.
Of course, especially when they've been good to us.
Bingo. So, but yeah, you know, it's all good. Everything is good. Everything is great in the Bloodline. This is what we've been waiting for. You saw they both walked out side by side, and even afterward, Rock shook hands with Jimmy and Jay. I mean, Jimmy and Solo. Everything is good. That's why. But he got his hand because he is the High Chief. They wouldn't make a show of such a chink in the armor so fast. It'd be way too soon because they know people gonna talk about it, and they know everybody gonna think they know more. The Rock already put it. He said, "Look, oh yeah, I heard something gonna be going down in Perth. Y'all call me. Let me know what happens at Elimination Chamber."
No, I don't trust this, Brother Hugh. What do you think, man? Because Brad is just biased. You know,
hey, bro. It's too many signs out there right now that the Rock.
Talk about them. What are the signs that you're seeing, Brother Hugh? Let's put people on game. What are you thinking?
Well,
what are you looking at?
Well, first of all, what did he say to Cody when he first showed up?
It was something
I'm
cordial.
better than you, and you know it.
It was something cordial because Cody Rhodes was okay with it. Like he was supportive of it at first.
He was good with it.
The Rock didn't get mad at Cody until Cody said something about his family. He mentioned the High Chief. That was a no-no. Like even I know that. Like don't talk about the High Chief. He said, like the Rock was like, ho. You just mentioned my grandfather. Like Cody did mention the guys who took the blood oath. Like talk about the relatives. Don't talk about he's you know. But before
the Bloodline started it though.
They did. Don't get me wrong. But what you're saying is true, Brother Hugh, because something was said, but we do know it was cordial because Cody was willing to take a back seat to say, you know what, if this was right.
Absolutely.
And I felt like it might have been along the lines of Cody, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing for business.
What did Cody say? He said he's gonna end the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? So how do you end the bloodline? You bring in the big dog to infiltrate the system and get rid of Roman Reigns.
Okay, hold on. So you talking collusion right now? You talking conspiracy? Yes. So
they might be working together.
This is breaking news. So you're telling me who? Time out. That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm going there. I
gotta catch myself real quick. Brandon, are you listening to this? Do you? Okay, I want to see what you have to say after this. Brother Hugh is going on the record. He's saying that you think there's some collusion going on.
Yeah,
it's because you said Cody said he made it clear he was going to destroy the bloodline, right? So what better way to do that than to bring in?
Hold up, Dylan don't miss, man. Dylan does not miss, bro.
Dylan is sharp. Cody said I did it for The Rock. Like Rikishi said. Oh boy, that was great. Took me back. I did it for The Rock.
Oh, that's another thing.
Shout out to Uncle Keish.
No, something's up. It's because your boy said something, Brian Nace, the other day. He was like, "Oh, I think Rikishi got one more run in him." Oh boy,
He itching. Yeah, I ain't never
He look
seen
like he
somebody
lost
so
some weight.
thirsty.
He get in shape again. You know something's up because these guys haven't been
Yep.
posting on themselves on social media lately.
He hasn't. He hasn't.
Yo,
He
he
So
want to
hasn't.
get in so bad.
yeah, he does. He wants a part. He wants a piece of this pie real bad.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to figure out how would The Rock benefit, brother Hugh, from your theory, if what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
If Cody Rhodes says, I need to destroy the bloodline from the inside out, I'm going to get The Rock. Now, The Rock has no reason to, let's put it this way, we don't know it right now. He put up that image of his family for a reason,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
And
Mhm.
you know, he seems to be supportive of the fact, like right now is Roman's turn. He's the one, it's his run. He's the one
Yeah.
responsible for putting bread on the tables. Like, this is what it is. And I got his back as big cuz. But you're saying
Okay.
Cody Rhodes is coming to tear that down, and you think there may be some collusion between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. What would The Rock benefit from turning on his own family? Because it seems like he benefits from the bloodline being successful is because he showed that elaborate family tree. Now imagine him showing that elaborate family tree. Like, that was the most detailed depiction or definition that we have gotten of the Samoan
Absolutely.
wrestling dynasty, right?
Mhm.
Between the grandfathers that took a blood oath, the family, you know, and I was like, okay, so this is where it officially began. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
realize it was Roman's grandfather that took. He was like, my grandfather, Roman. I was like, oh, okay. And then he had the other elders, you know, on the top that, you know, because on one side it was Yokozuna's parents, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm putting it all together. Do you think
Mhm.
culturally that's the right thing to do? If like, what's The Rock's angle? Does he want to be the head of the table? Does he feel like maybe somebody's out of position, or is he? Why would he help Cody take down his family?
Right.
Because
I went the right man.
look
Look
how
at Brian. He's
Roman.
like he thinks he's a part of the family. Like, we
Yeah.
wouldn't talk about you. He said, right, like, how you
Facts.
gonna take down the family?
Facts. Look how Roman has been running things though. What happened to the family? It broke up, right?
Ooh,
Jay is gone, right?
true,
It's
yeah.
broken up. And The Rock is all about what? Family. At the end of the day, Roman, he's been acting as if he's the big dog in the
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock is the main breadwinner, no matter what. So he's coming back to take his throne.
Mhm.
It makes sense. Put Roman in his place, bring the family back together, and it is what it is.
Taking the title from him, no, knowing that's how he feed the rest of the family.
It's about The Rock, bro. He doesn't even. It's not even about the title, honestly.
That's how
It's
Roman
all
feeds
about.
the family.
It's deeper than that though.
Mm.
That's how he
It's
feeds the
deeper than that.
family, though.
That's fine. That's fine. But The Rock is the top of the line. He's the top guy. He feeds the family.
See, that's what I wrestle with. That's the part I wrestle with. Like,
That's
well,
you see what I'm
kind of
saying?
technically, yeah.
He feeds the family.
He
Roman just needs to
barely.
fall in line. He's going to fall in line. That's the way that I'm seeing it. I'm throwing that monkey wrench out there. I don't want to
What's your
see it. I don't want to see Cody win
he
the
said, I
title. I
don't
don't
want to
want to
see
see
it.
the. I don't. I don't want to see Rock turn on him. But I'm just being real. I'm just throwing another
Nah, you
scenario out there.
fishing, man. You fishing.
What are you
I mean, think
thinking, bro?
about it.
Go
Look
ahead,
at
bro.
it too.
Mm-hmm.
During that promo on SmackDown, The
Mm-hmm.
Rock. This was just great camera work too. When he said
See,
what he
that's
said
place
about
stuff.
absolutely. When he said he's going to do everything in his power to make sure, what he say?
Make
To
sure
make
you.
sure that you walk out at WrestleMania a loser. And they shifted the camera angle, and it looked like The Rock was pointed at Roman Reigns when he said that.
Uh-oh.
That's
See,
when I
I
was like,
heard that
oh
too,
my
though.
god.
Somebody said that too.
I said, oh my gosh, there it is. Then for him to throw up the L at the end,
He definitely threw up an L. Like that's the part that seemed blatantly obvious. Like, what's the deal? Like, this is what everybody started to get suspicious. Like, come on now, what do you? That's not a point. Like,
so
what's wrong with your fingers? Your fingers broke, or what's the
man,
deal?
I love you, Rocky, but you kind of suspicious right now, brother.
Mm-hmm. Brian, do you find his behavior suspicious? What do you think, brother? I'm telling you, brother, he's digging down he's on some Bray Wyatt type stuff. God rest his soul. I'm like, that we going down these rabbit holes again. Don't get me wrong, what he's saying makes sense. I'm like, you man, but for me, I'm trying to figure out what the motive would be. But now I'm like, wait a minute, there's still some things we don't have answered, like who sent Solo.
Facts.
He said the elders. Who are the elders? Like I don't trust Triple H. Like they put that map up there for a reason. Maybe they were showing us who the elders were.
Could it be Rocky? Could he be the elder that sent them?
He
I
might
don't
be
know.
the representative. He could be the speaker for the elders.
Maybe. Could be his mama, like we said before. Who knows?
Brian H, what do you have to say?
Look, man.
See, here you go. See, here you go, brother. There you go. Here you go.
We did this with Bray Wyatt, and we did this with he ain't even relevant no more. Dexter
Loomis. Yep. He's probably going to get released.
Everything was flipped upside down. This stuff is too obvious for it to be right. That was just great camera angles to trick you.
Okay.
So you think they're just throwing us off the scent because they know we're going to speculate? Is that what that is?
Yes.
That's fine. I'm just throwing it out there. Like I said, you
good,
already know where I stand. You already know where I stand. You know what I'm saying? I acknowledge my tribal chief, but at the same time, let's be real. Let's be real though. You see it.
And he will be the longest reigning champion in the WrestleMania era.
I just want him to be Hogan. That's all I want.
1, 2, 3. And then they're gonna do that GIF. They're gonna replay that TikToks all over again. When you're 60 years old and Roman Reigns wins the championship.
Did you see the one when he when he defeated Jesus Christ at WrestleMania 76?
That don't make no goddamn sense.
Roman would be.
That's crazy.
So my question is,
yeah.
So The Rock plays a part, right? Maybe Jey Uso plays a part. What does that mean for the Samoan wrestling dynasty when, everybody kind of goes back to taking a break again, right? Nobody's on TV every week. Roman, you know what I mean? Like everybody's home again. Like we're having a WrestleMania run, but now it's over. Right? What is the end game as far as the bloodline and The Rock? Because The Rock just got there, so they don't seem like he's going anywhere.
He's not
anytime soon, obviously,
he's
right?
He's not going anywhere. Nah, he'll be around for a while.
Does the bloodline still live on without a Roman? What's the deal? Like, what's the end game?
Tribal heir.
He is, but he's still a baby though. Like he's the youngest.
Hey man, a lot of free agents.
Oh, see, there you go. Well, now what are you getting at, Brian?
Oh, Jacob Fatu. A lot of free agents, man.
The Samoan werewolf. He looks good too. He's thinned out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was like, he's very agile. He's just like, he reminds me of he has the agility of like Yokozuna and Umaga mixed together. Like, this guy can jump to the top rope and moonsault. You know what I mean? Something serious, but every time we try to come to a conclusion, we can never figure this out. But you know what though? We will live to fight another day. I'm not so sure what's going on with The Rock and the bloodline. I don't think I smell what the bloodline is cooking because I smell collusion and I smell it real bad. But I guess we will figure this out
Can we talk about Jimmy's face during that whole promo?
Bro, I told you, like, look at him.
No, Jimmy is hilarious, bro.
He the only one who can be him. Like they marking out, laughing, going crazy. He just be obnoxious.
That's how I felt when they jumped freaking Cody Rhodes and on that Raw match, and he was cheesing just like that, and he was like waiting to get dapped up, and he left him hanging. He just kept his hand there. I said, "Man, yo, put your hand away, bro. This is embarrassing." I don't trust Jimmy Uso. He does too much.
I love it.
Do we see a bloodline civil war at WrestleMania?
Yeah, with Jimmy and Jey.
You don't see any other issues or disruptions with The Rock. I think I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock turns on Roman Reigns either, or somebody causes him to lose. Like he's you know what I mean?
It goes
That
back
could
to this.
Mhm.
Dang it, Triple H. I blame
There
Triple
you go.
H.
That's what it is.
That's
That's
it.
what it is, bro.
That's it.
That's what it is, man. We got to freaking blame Triple H.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's all about
this
the
is
game.
ridiculous. We've never been stumped like this before. Like we sitting there trying to figure this. This was 10 years ago. We'd had this mapped out in the first 10
Right.
minutes of the show, and then came back the next show like, "Yep, we was right." Like we used to do. But now, man, I feel like Triple H is doing a lot to throw us off our scent because he wants to keep. He's found a way to keep the product surprising, despite what we think we know.
Right,
Dirt Sheets took. I think Dirt Sheets took a huge hit because people don't take Dirt Sheets as serious as they used to.
Nope.
Sure don't.
You know what I mean? So
there's like 500 different scenarios, and they were all wrong during that presser.
bro, of course.
I'm all for cooking Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, he's just, he's a moneymaker at this point. But you know what? The Bloodline is making plenty of money for the WWE, and I expect them to make plenty of money for Perth in Australia for Elimination Chamber this week.
Hold
we
on,
got an early start.
I'm reaching. What if Nia wins the title and joins the Bloodline?
Come on, bro.
And everything.
That's NWO stuff.
And everything is all good.
Bro, it's NWO stuff now. Now it's like crap. Because now they're getting involved on the women's side.
Did y'all notice
like covering
Jimmy?
all grounds?
What'd you say about Jimmy?
Did you notice how much he like got in shape quick?
Bro, remember he came back kind of tubby, and I said, "Nah, he dropped that weight real quick."
Yo,
it took
I'm
like 3.5, 4 weeks. He was back to being slim again. I said, "Oh yeah, he wasn't playing no games."
Yeah, his wife with him.
Well, yeah, that also helps. Yeah, you know what I mean. He's like back on the road with his woman. So, man, we're going to revisit this again. We're gonna and we can't even come to a conclusion, which is a good thing, is because guess what? We get to enjoy it as fans. We get to watch it as it happens. So I'm looking forward to see what happens in Australia. And like I said, brothers, this has been the most conflicting and like crazy road to WrestleMania that we've had in a long time, man. Shout out to Triple H and his creative staff, his team, and all those parties who are involved. But we all want you to, of course, follow us on all our social media platforms at Wrestling Wrealm. Subscribe to Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Wrealm. Shout out to everybody that joined us in the chat. Look, Brian is still reading comments. Look at that. 9 p.m. wrestling, please. Yes.
Congratulations.
There you go, Dylan.
We got to get up early. He's like,
yeah.
Now it's your turn.
Right, exactly.
Right up with you. Hey.
Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the chat for joining us. We appreciate your opinions and being involved in the show. If you guys have more ideas, please leave them in the comments. We'll definitely get to them. And we will continue to ride just like the rest of everyone else is riding. We're looking forward to Elimination Chamber this Saturday, February 24th, 5 a.m. Eastern time, as well as WrestleMania and everything else in between. Brothers, we've done it again, but guess what? We still got more to do. So join us next week right here at the same time, every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch Championship Culture every Tuesday, 8 p.m. at youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. Playlist Championship Culture. We got to get out of here. We will see you next week. We appreciate you all. We out.
Houston, we have a problem. Yes!